Hello friends, this is Terry with your new moon in Cancer astrology report. New moon in Cancer happening on July 17th. I've got my little new moon tuning forks here, and we are in a waning moon cycle right now, just after that powerful 7-7 portal, energy portal, and the Sirius gateway, as I spoke about in my last Capricorn supermoon astrology report. If you haven't listened to that one, check it out, because there is just a lot going on right now. And how are you feeling? I'd love to know, because so many of us are just reeling with all this energy happening, and there's so much fresh new energy coming in. At the same time, we have these epic solar storms I'm going to talk about in a minute. On Thursday, when I'm recording this on Thursday, July 13th of this week, we will have an epic, massive solar flare, solar storm that is supposed to bring Aurora Borealis. So if you happen to be somewhere where you can see the Aurora Borealis, definitely Thursday night, July 13th, is supposed to be an epic time, and we're going to try to go out and catch the Aurora Borealis in the late night. It takes so long to wait for the dark now on these long days, but the days are getting shorter every day as we've moved past the summer solstice now. So the days are long and the years are short, as they say. It's just, time is just flying by. I can't believe we're already in July. And we have this fresh new energy, this new era that we're ushering in on this new moon as we move into that new nodal axis, the Aries Libra axis. Aries being the first sign, the first house of the zodiac wheel. It is really ushering in a brave new world, and I'm going to talk about so much today. We've got the new moon in Cancer and all of its aspects. We've got that nodal axis shift into Aries Libra. If you are an Aries and you're a Libra, you're really going to want to pay attention. But we all have Aries and Libra somewhere in our charts. And I am here at this beautiful bird nature reserve in Sun River, Oregon, and we were just watching the trumpeter swans, who just gave birth to 3 little baby ducklings. Oh my goodness, they are so adorable. And I think this trumpeter swan, this, really beautiful waterfowl, is the perfect symbol for the Cancer new moon, because this is a mother who raises her baby ducklings in water. And what could be more Cancer than that? Cancer is the sign that rules over motherhood and the divine feminine energy and the goddess. And Cancer is a water sign. And so to be at this little water refuge with the trumpeter swan, an extinct species, a nearly extinct species that they're really trying to take care of and nourish and nurture here in Sun River Nature Center. It is amazing to be in the presence of this beautiful swan. And the swan is such a symbol of divine motherhood and the love of a mother. And we can all call upon our mothers and the great mother and the goddess energy on this new moon. And where so many people I know are just in this time of a crossroads and really stepping into the unknown and a new direction, and just not quite having our footing firmly on the ground right now as we take the first step. Aries is all about the baby taking its first step as we move into that nodal axis of North Node Aries. We're kind of taking our first step into the great unknown. And it reminds me of a time when I was taking a huge leap of faith. I was moving to Seattle. I didn't have a job. I didn't know what I was going to do there. And I was moving without knowing anybody in Seattle. And just before, maybe 3 days before the move, I had so much trouble sleeping because I was hearing my neighbor's dogs that were just barking all night long. And, you know, those times when you're just making a huge change and you can't sleep. And I remember calling out to Hecate, the goddess Hecate. If you know Hecate, she is the goddess of the crossroads, and she rules the crossroads with these Great Dane dogs. And I called out, Hecate, quiet your barking dogs. I know I'm standing at the crossroads. And I just sort of called to this goddess instinctively for advice on where to go and what was going to happen next. And if you find yourself at a crossroads as we move into this new era, you can call upon this goddess Hecate. She is the goddess who can also help you find lost things. She can help you call back your soul after trauma. Sometimes when in healing and shamanic healing, when there is trauma, the soul can be sort of split and it can get away from the body. And Hecate helps you to return your soul to the body. And Hecate was also the goddess who helped Demeter find Persephone when Persephone was taken into the underworld. So Hecate also can go into the underworld. And this new moon in Cancer is in an exact opposition to Pluto, the planet of that underworld. So there's a lot of this deep subconscious transformative energy happening now on this new moon. And you can call on Pluto and Hecate and taking a trip into your subconscious mind to sort of pay attention to what's going on in your subconscious and how can you transform that and change your inner thinking, because I always say it all begins within. And what are the stories that you're telling yourself? And you can reprogram your mind to manifest what you desire. And we just did a recording on making money while you sleep, and it's basically transforming your inner thoughts about abundance and how you can manifest money. And I've been listening to it myself. My husband did the recording. It's his voice, and it is so soothing. And the craziest thing is, in this recording, we talk about seeing roses, and every time you see a rose, how that is a sign that abundance or something is coming to you. And I have literally had this experience where I know it's summertime and roses are abundant all over. So it was good timing to do this powerful rose abundance meditation that I learned at the Berkeley Psychic Institute so long ago. And it really is working though. When I see a rose, all of a sudden I'll go home and I will have just made a sale, or I have gotten just money unexpectedly is coming from seeing roses. So got to give it a try. But this is the energy of this new moon Cancer opposite Pluto. We can transform our inner thinking. We can transform our subconscious thoughts. And the subconscious rules over 90% of what we think and what we end up doing in our behavior. So if you can reprogram your subconscious to achieve, you can really, believe and receive, you can really manifest quickly by just changing your subconscious thoughts. It's a miracle. And we also have this new moon is Trine, the mystical, magical Neptune in Pisces that just stationed retrograde recently. I have a whole separate astrology reading on that Neptune in Pisces retrograde. And this is a time when our intuition and our dreams and our visions will really be there to guide us on our path forward. If you are at a crossroads, you can just take some time in meditation and quiet, to listen to your higher mind, to call upon spirit for guidance. This is a very spiritual, mystical trine. Remember, trines are those positive opportunities, lucky transits that we like to see. So this new moon in Cancer and the sun in Cancer, they're both trining that Neptune in Pisces, magical inspiration. This is really going to give us divine inspiration. You can channel now divine messages, or if you are a musician, an artist, a poet, a writer, use the energy of this new moon. Really get out your journal and do some writing, or if you play music, this is a beautiful time to just tap into a higher inspiration. Creativity, spirituality is really going to be coming through strong. So use this new moon in Cancer for any creative pursuits, and this is a powerful energy to plant your seeds of intention for any creative activities or any creative goals that you have for the future. But you can also use this new moon in Cancer as a time to plant your seeds of intention for your home. Maybe you want to remodel your home, or maybe you're moving home. Maybe you want to find your dream home, or you want to purchase a home. Cancer rules over the house and home because Cancer is the sign of the crab, and you know the crab is always wearing its home on its back. So oftentimes we get to this July new moon Cancer and people are really moving. You'll see just a lot of people moving in the summertime, and I think it also ties into we're moving into Cancer season, and it's all about the home and remodeling and moving and buying a home and selling a home. So any seeds of intention you have around your house, this is the new moon to really put that out. And as I said, Cancer rules over motherhood. So if you are hoping to get pregnant, this is a fertile time. You can plant your seeds of intention for making a baby or starting a family. And it's such a beautiful mothering energy. And also just taking time out for self-care. When I think of Cancer, I think of taking your self-care and being a good mother to yourself and mothering your own inner child and listening to your inner child and seeing what your inner child wants. That's a whole exercise you can do to really tap in. Yes. Cancer new moon brings in that watery yin energy that wants us to relax and take some time for quiet and peace and feel into your path forward and let your intuition guide you. And Cancer really lets us know it's okay to rest now and take that nap and relax. Maybe get a massage, maybe do some kind of healing session. It's going to be okay. There's nothing you have to do now. You can just relax and let things unfold on this lunar cycle, because I think we've all been just trying so hard to make things happen. We've had that intense forward momentum energy, and now the energy is slowing down as we move into the retrograde season with all these planets going retrograde. I'm going to list all the planets that are going retrograde in just a minute, but we can just start to slow down and just relax into that art of allowing and just letting things unfold naturally. And we don't have to make it all happen this month. We can just surrender. And what if it can turn out even better than you imagined when you just let it go? And I teach this in my Reiki classes when we send distance Reiki to a situation, and sometimes people really want to manifest things and they're just trying so hard to manifest. And the real magic comes when you let go of your attachment to outcome. And you stop trying to control how it's going to show up for you. And you just surrender to the process. and you can set your seeds of intention. Okay, spirit, universe, I want this thing. But then let it go and give up the reins to spirit, to a higher mind, universe, source, whatever you call it, whatever it is for you. Maybe it's God. And you just let it be, and let it be in the hands of a higher power, and see what shows up. If you can just surrender to the process and go take a nap, sometimes things will just really show up in a better way than you could have ever even imagined. And we're all basically toddlers in this energy as we move into that Aries energy. The Aries is the baby, and I think of us as being toddlers who really want something. You know, when a small child just wants something really bad, and they get all worked up about it, and then they exhaust themselves and they just have to take a nap. And in that process of taking a nap, then maybe you are allowing the thing to come to you finally. So this Cancer season, take some time out for reflection, for resting, for meditation, for beautiful nature therapy. If you can get out into nature, or even if it's just earthing in your own backyard, just putting your bare feet in the grass and rooting down and grounding. This is what Cancer loves to be. And just taking a nap at this Cancer season reminds me of the story of Chang'e, who is awake and yet not yet awakened. And if you've ever heard this story, Chang'e falls into a deep slumber, taking a nap, and he dreams of being a beautiful butterfly, just flittering around the flowers and the grasses. And then Chang'e wakes up, and for a moment, he feels so much like he was a butterfly that he has this moment of confusion, whether he is Chang'e dreaming of being a butterfly, or perhaps he is the butterfly having a dream of being Chang'e. And this is just a Taoist metaphor. It's called confusion techniques. We use this sometimes in Jin Shin Do, when people just can't relax into the healing session. You can use these kind of confusion techniques to get people to relax into a deeper level by telling these little Taoist parables, like the story of Chang'e becoming the butterfly, or perhaps he is the butterfly becoming Chang'e. And is this all just a dream that we are dreaming right now? And when we awaken from this dreamy slumber, we find out that the moon's nodes have now moved into Aries and Libra. And this is happening on July 17th, the exact same day as this new moon in Cancer. And I just saw a flicker go by. Oh, flickers are so beautiful and lucky. I love their little orange feathers. But on July 17th, we are going to have a major energetic shift as we go from that Taurus, Scorpio, North Node, South Node, lunar axis that we've been on for the past 2 years, and all of those eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio. Whew, that is over, and I am so glad that, is anybody else so glad that we are moving out of Taurus, Scorpio? Of course, I am a Scorpio, so I am ready for the North Node to move out of Taurus, Scorpio, because that was a lot of eclipses in our signs. And that Taurus, Scorpio was that death, transformation, rebirth energy. Scorpio ruling over the death and transformation, Taurus being about rebirth and regrowth. And now we move into the next level of Aries. Aries is where the zodiac wheel begins anew. It is the first house. It is the beginning. So this is really a huge shift, a whole brand new way. And I'm going to do a whole separate video about the Aries Libra Nodal Axis, because I have so much to say about it. But basically, the baby has been born now, and Aries is the baby, and we will all have this baby-like brand new energy to start something new, to move into a new direction, to take on a new career path. And this is all coming in, and it's a really good idea to look at your chart and see where Aries is and where Libra is, because that's where these eclipses that we're having starting this fall, they're all going to land on that Aries Libra nodal axis, and that is where you will have some major changes, some new beginnings, and a whole new era that's coming in. And it's going to be a lot to process over the next 2 years as we enter this Aries North Node and the baby begins to take its first steps forward. And we will all want to be doing baby steps now. Don't launch into something so big and so fast. You're just going to want to take baby steps in the new directions. You don't have to have your whole new journey all figured out yet, because we will all learn it as we go along. And we are really co-creating a whole new paradigm right now. So it doesn't have to be all figured out this week or this new moon. It'll just be these little baby steps forward over the next 2 years. And the most important thing you can do is raise your energetic frequency to love. So remember, as we start this new era and this new journey forward, it all begins within. The best thing you can do is do the self-care, take your nap, take care of, number one, take care of yourself, mother yourself, like the Cancer energy is asking you to be your own best mother, and really take care of your energetic vibration, and then let the outer transform itself. Don't worry about making outer changes. Let's all just begin within on this new moon as we just take our first baby step into that Aries paradigm. And we also have a Mercury in Leo square that Jupiter in Taurus. Remember, squares are sometimes about conflict, struggle, obstacles on your path. But with Jupiter in Taurus, there's so much hope for the future. And when Mercury moves into Leo, we have a lot to say. Mercury is communication, and Leo is like the star shining bright. And so this is a really communicative time. And I think it's so interesting that Instagram just started their new threads, communication, social media at this time when people will really want to be seen and heard and saying things with that Mercury in Leo. But Mercury in Leo can sometimes be a little too brutally honest, or Mercury in Leo can be very braggart and bragging, and then Jupiter just sort of expands whatever it touches. And when Jupiter squares that Mercury in Leo, we can get a lot of bragging and maybe some not nice, just telling people exactly what you feel. But I think of Thumper's mother in Bambi. I'm totally dating myself. But when I was a little kid, my mom would always remind me, what did Thumper's mother say? If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. And I guess I must have been quite a trash talker as a child, because I heard my mom tell me that, remind me that if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all, quite a bit as a kid. So that is the mantra for this Mercury square. Mercury in Leo square Jupiter in Taurus. Be nice when you're out there. And you may see a lot of trash talking on social media, particularly on the new threads. And just try to avoid the negativity and bring light and the good positive energy wherever you can. And I love that saying that before you speak or before you even write something on your social media, think about, is it kind? Is it true? And is it necessary? And if it's not kind, true, and necessary, then just don't say it, right? And don't make false promises under this influence either, because there is a lot of hope for the future, and there is a lot of potential on this new moon to make magical things happen. But don't make a promise that you can't keep either. I love that saying, my mind made a promise my body couldn't keep. But we may find we just want to do all these things and we're just not able to. And pay attention to all the little details. Yes, there is a lot of potential here, but I don't know if I would sign a big contract or sign my life away under this influence. You want to really check the details thoroughly, especially because we are going into this retrograde season. And I'm gonna now, I just want to talk about the retrograde season and just do another recap for you, because we have all these planets retrograding left and right, and I've already posted about the Saturn, Neptune, and Venus retrograde. I did these little mini astrology reports, and I realized I didn't do one for Pluto, so I have to go back and do one for Pluto. And this is what retrograde season is about. Oh, I forgot that thing. I've got to go back. I've got to circle back and do the thing that I forgot to do. I think a lot of times when planets go retrograde, it's like they forgot something where they have they've already crossed a certain area, and now they got to go back because they forgot to do the thing. Or maybe they left their keys or their wallet, so the planet has to go back to where it was before. And we're really seeing that with all these retrogrades. We will be going back and repeating, redoing, revising the things that we were already working on. And so I'm going to put all the retrograde links to those retrograde videos in the description below. And I'll also put all these dates. But just so you know, Pluto in Aquarius went retrograde on May 23rd and stays retrograde all the way through October. And Pluto returns to Capricorn, where Pluto was for all of 2020. Remember that? And we had that powerful Pluto-Saturn conjunction in Capricorn in 2020, and all hell broke loose. And it's like Pluto forgot to do something in 2020, or maybe Pluto wanted to do something, to transform something in 2020, and it didn't happen. So now Pluto's going all the way back to Capricorn, and we may be revisiting some things that we neglected during that 2020 time, or some things that we wanted to do but we weren't able to accomplish because it was a confusing time and it was hard to move the dial forward. So maybe if there was something you were working on, some past project from 2020, Pluto's going all the way back there to that 2020 Capricorn. And it could be a time to unearth those old ideas and old goals, and perhaps those old lessons from 2020 are coming back up because we didn't really get the lesson. And Saturn is retrograde in Pisces. I did a whole astrology reading about that, where that struggling mountain goat enters the deep waters to become the sea goat, that mystical, magical creature where the goat gets its mermaid tail. And I just love Saturn in Pisces. It's a much softer energy for me than Saturn in Capricorn, which was so stern, rules, regulations, restrictions. But now that goat gets a mermaid tail, and it's mystical, magical Pisces time for Saturn. Saturn was originally ruled by Pisces, so it's a really returning to the roots of mysticism for Saturn. And wherever Pisces is, you will be feeling in your chart, you will be feeling that Saturn retrograde. So get ready for intense lessons and perhaps meeting some old soul. Pay attention to who shows up during this Saturn retrograde. And that happens from June 17th through November 4th. And Neptune retrograde in Pisces Be careful about what you are consuming, be it food or ideas, during this time, and how is it affecting you. And that happens from June 30th all the way to December, and Venus in Leo is so magical. If you happen to be out just after sunset right now, you can see Venus in the west shining so bright right next to Mars in Leo. And Venus is just beginning her cycle of retrograde. I did a separate astrology report on that. I'll link below. And when Venus retrogrades, she will have a period where she becomes invisible. We won't see her in our night skies or our morning skies, because she is retrograding from evening star, where she is now. You can see her in the west in the evening. But then she goes invisible through her retrograde pattern, her star pattern, which I cover in the Venus retrograde. And then she will rise up this fall as the morning star, where she is really empowered in her divine feminine energy. And we will all be craving love and money and the spotlight with this Venus in Leo transit. And this is happening July 22nd through September 3rd. And then Mercury will be retrograde in Taurus from August 23rd through September 15th. And you will want to get your resources in order. Taurus is about resources, your food supply, your money. All of those things can be affected. So pay attention to your bank account, pay attention to your grocery list, and take care of the cows. Of course, Taurus is a cow, and they have that saying, take care of the cows. It's like basically, you know, time to be at home and taking care of business. And Uranus in Taurus will retrograde from August 28th through January 27th. And what's going to happen next? Oh my goodness, because we will have some unexpected earth events happening this fall. I'm thinking earthquakes, volcanoes, tornadoes, storms, crazy earth events happen during our Uranus in retrograde. So might be a good time if you're looking for a house, see if you can find one with a bunker. That's my dream. And then we'll have Jupiter in Taurus retrograde September 4th through December 2nd. And all those Taurus who finally are going to have their wishes granted under this Jupiter in Taurus. You might have to wait till Christmas. It reminds me of when my son was a little boy, and they always want like every toy in the store. Every time you go to any grocery store or anything, it's like, I want. And I would always say, maybe for Christmas, maybe for Christmas. So Taurus, if you are wanting to manifest something and Jupiter is in your sign and you know it's coming, I'm just going to say maybe for Christmas, because with this retrograde, it might not happen till after Jupiter stations direct in December. So that's all the retrogrades coming, just to let you know. And I'll put them down in the descriptions. Mark them on your calendar. This is not a great time to launch or publish your book or do anything that you really want that forward momentum on, because we're just going backwards all the way until December. So I would probably put off until 2024. I was just doing a beautiful astrology report for a business that wants to launch, and I looked at February of 2024. Wow, that has some really good energy for launching something forward. So if you can wait to start your business till next year, I would do it. And oh, and I forgot, we have Mars in retrograde. How could I forget Mars? Mars in retrograde is September 13th through January 12th of 2024. And Mars rules our ambition. So now we're going to lose our ambition on top of everything else. It's going to be a slow moving fall, I tell you. At least it might slow down the wars with Mars retrograde, because Mars rules over war and the warrior and anger. So maybe it'll cool tempers and we'll have some more peace with Mars retrograde. So that is basically everything for the Cancer new moon. I thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. And so many of you bought my solstice, astrology, chart readings, and that really helps me out. I'm trying to save up money for a catio, so you guys contributed greatly to my cat's catio. And I will see you on the next report, which will be a full moon with Mars and Jupiter trine. Just a really lucky, powerful trine. Remember, trines are opportunities, and someone here will have an opportunity to win a free astrology chart. So make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to be in it to win it, and I will see you next time. Thank you.